What's happening, guys? Kenny here again, and today I've got another On My Mind video. And what I'm going to be talking about today, to try and keep it short, is I'm going to be talking about this knife, which is the Benchmade, I believe 940-1501, I believe, which is the Knife Works exclusive in 20 CV. And this guy, this is the Cold Steel Ultimate Hunter. And what I'm going to be talking about with these two knives is I sent these over to Kurt, JCool19, which is, he's the guy behind the scenes right now, guys, that no one hears about. You hear Steve talk about him, you hear LTK talk about him, but he's the guy who's heat treating all these knives, or heat treating, sorry, HRC testing all these knives to see what they're heat treated at, and checking the steels as well to make sure that they're all what they are said to be. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about these two knives that were tested by him, and also talk about Kurt, because I think he is the unsung hero right now in this community. He is going to be holding these companies to what they are, claiming, which is, all these knives usually come, they want to be within this HRC, which is usually like, basic 58 to 60 is like your basic like S30 and S35. That's what a lot of these companies shoot for. And then with like steels like 20 CV and M390, a lot of these companies are saying 59 to 61, which is kind of the basic level I think most of them are at. But so we're testing these steels and making sure that these companies are getting within range of what they're saying. Also within range of what these steels are capable of, which is the other thing I'm going to talk about, which might turn into a bit of a rant at the end. These videos do that a lot. So yeah, but I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I do have the PMI sheets and all the pictures from him actually testing these knives. And yeah, really what I want to say right off the bat is, Kurt, you are the man. I hope that everybody in the comments, guys, I want you all to tell Kurt how awesome he is and how appreciative you are of the work he's doing. This is not cheap, guys. And it's not like it costs him anything. He works in a machine shop, I believe, and he works around these machines all day, so it's not like it costs him to test the knives. This equipment's very expensive to purchase. He luckily works at a machine shop, so he doesn't have to purchase the machinery, but he takes his time out of his day to do this for us. He also, it's not cheap sending these knives back and forth, guys. Each time I send it to him, it's like, between $10 and $15 for the shipping, because you have to insure these knives too. We don't want to get them all lost in the mail and everyone be out, the $200 or $100 per knife. So it's a lot of money sending these knives back and forth. So it's not free to do all this, and I really appreciate what you're doing, man, and it's really just next level for you to be doing this for everybody. And also on top of that, he's just a great guy, and I'm really appreciate getting to know him. And I mean, you all saw what he did for Steve there, which was next level. Yeah, again, I'm ranting right now because I want everyone to have to listen to the fact of who's doing this. It's not just some guy back there, This is a regular guy like you or me that's taking his time to heat treat test these, to check the HRCs, to keep these guys true and true to you guys. So I hope everyone appreciates it, and let him know, guys. I want to see all the comments down here saying, what's up to Kurt, and really appreciate what he's doing. So yeah, I'm going to flip the camera around now, and we're going to talk a little more about what we found with these two knives. And I have two more that are with him now that blown away by one and blown away by the other with just being disappointed. But yeah, so here we go, right into it. All right, so I do have the iPad in here. I'm gonna have, you know, I have it on the Knife Steals app to show you guys. So yeah, right now I'm gonna show you, these both have the dimple. There's that guy, where they've been tested, so you know that these are the knives that are being tested. And this one actually has two dimples. There's the one right there on the flats, and then there's a second one right there. So the XHP he tested in two areas, just to confirm, and then yeah, just one on the Benchmade. So just to explain kind of the process, guys, I'm gonna show a picture right now of the HRC tester. This is what they do, you know, it's just a big machine. He goes ahead and there's a test piece where, you know, it calibrates the machine to make sure everything's in line. Then he goes ahead and puts the knife in there, and it, you know, it has a diamond tip that the level of how much it indents is pretty much the hardness of the steel. And that's the basic idea. I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's just for the average guy to understand how this is working. And it's just pretty much how deep that point goes into the steel is what the HRC tested. You know, how deep it goes tells you how hard the steel is. It's pretty simple, guys. And then the other machine that's used is a PMI machine that is pretty much a gun. It's a laser that shoots at the steel, and it bounces back, and Jesus, I'm having loss for words. When the level of the spectrum that comes back, you know that these elements have this much in the steel, as it takes the read of what's the laser that comes back. So that's just a basic idea of these two machines that are being used. I will show pictures of everything that he shot and everything that he tested. I'll put those pictures up on the screen as we go here. But yeah, so really it's just really just a basic idea. So what I'm going to tell you right now is I'm going to tell you what each steel was set at, like what was found, what HRC, and then we'll talk about where it should be and where it's going from there, and then we'll talk about the steels as well. I'm going to do one knife at a time. So first off, let's go ahead and start with the Ultimate Hunter. Now, this knife, there's no stuff on Cold Steel's site, especially for the XHP, because this is a discontinued steel now in this. Yeah, there's no specification on what they want this HRC at, so there's nothing to compare it to, but this was found to be 60.5 average HRC out of 2 tests. Actually, hold on. I gotta look at which. Geez, I'm gonna have to stop this and look at the 2 different tests to tell you how it averaged there. Okay, so I'll put the 2 pictures up. I think one was at around 60.9 HRC, and the one was around 60.2. So it averaged out to 60.5. Yeah, so it's really nicely done, guys. I mean, that's right where you want to be with XHP. You know, it can go all the way up into like the 62, 63, I think even maybe 64 range, with still being stable. And that's excellent, guys. This is very well done by Cold Steel. And most of the stuff that I know that Kurt's been testing, he has a lot of stuff now. LTK's had a bunch of different batches, and I know David at BladeBanter's had a bunch of batches now. So yeah, this is not the first XHP in Cold Steel. He's tested his as well. His Ultimate Hunter came out exactly the same, I think, 60.5. So that's a very consistent and very well done XHP. Oh, and by the way, guys, so I sent this knife out. It was not very sharp. And of course, Kurt went the extra mile and sharpened up my knife that I sent dull. I mean, what a guy. What a guy. Thank you so much, Kurt, for what you do and for giving me a nice screaming edge on this thing. Let's see if I can. I mean, yeah, it's shaven sharp for sure, guys, just to say the least. But yeah, so I really appreciate that, bud. Yeah, so it's really well done. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the sheet now. This is the sheet showing all the elements and data. Here's Cold Steel Ultimate Hunter, XHP, average test was 60.5. Here's your readout sheet. I'll also put the gun on right now. I'll show you that reading of the gun. The PMI gun just pointed at the knife. When it comes up here, it would show us what type of metal it was if it was something that was in their system, but the XHP was not in their system, so it doesn't come out. And then here's all the different elements. This is kind of the percentage here, and here are all the element abbreviations. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring this in to show you guys. This always messes up the color on the screen when I bring in another screen, but I'll go ahead and show you guys just a little bit. I'm gonna show you what's in there and what should be in there. So you see molybdenum, the moly is gonna be 0.8, and what it actually is 1.022, which is even more molybdenum than they say. The manganese, which is 0.5, what's actually in there is right around 0.6, so that's nice. I mean, you can pretty much see everything that's supposed to be in there. Nickel is at 0.368, it's supposed to be at 0.35, so it's just all in there. That's what's supposed to be there. You can see it is the steel it's supposed to be. What I did notice too is there's some niobium in there, which not necessarily supposed to be. So that's kind of nice. There's actually a little bit of extra stuff in there that I'm seeing. The Fe that you guys see here, that's iron. Yeah, in every steel. If it's a steel, it's iron plus, you know, carbon and all the other things that we throw in there to strengthen it. The vanadium is 0.59. You can see the vanadium that's supposed to be in there is 0.45, so even more vanadium than it's supposed to be. They just really did a nice job here of utilizing the elements here. Even cobalt. There's some cobalt in there too, which isn't necessarily supposed to be in there. So those are additions that are things that are actually going to help the steel be stronger. The chromium's at 16.79, which is higher. It's supposed to be at 16, so even more chromium there. Yeah, just excellent. Really well done. And then let's see the carbon. Where is the carbon? I'm having a hard time seeing where the carbon is here, guys. Sorry. Oh, where are we? Okay, so I don't see the carbon on this sheet. I see chromium. I don't see carbon, which is interesting. Maybe you can tell me where I'm going wrong here. Maybe I'm not looking at something right. Let me know, Kurt. What am I doing wrong here? But anyways, other than that, we definitely see levels are good. It's the right steel. It came out at the hardness that we were looking for as far as how it performs, and it did perform excellently for me. So I'm not surprised by those numbers, not at all. So nice job, Cold Steel. Really well done. Above and beyond as far as, you know, what you're paying for and what you're getting. And I mean, this is like a $90 knife, you know, 80 something to $90. That's excellent for that kind of price point to get a steel like XHP at that kind of level of hardness and everything. Really, really, really nicely done by Cold Steel. And from what I can tell, their heat treats are being done well. So, hey guys, made in Taiwan, you know, like, come on guys. I know we hold these made in USA so high. We hold them to a high level and high standard, and they're just not meeting that standard right now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm an American, born and raised, Californian, and I hold pride in American-made products, and we're not holding it to the standard that we need to make it. When I was a kid, you bought American-made, and it was always better. That's not the case right now, guys. Here we go. Benchmade. Made in Oregon. Made in America, guys. An American-made steel. Made in America. Finished in America. Let's bring him in. What did he test at? $59.2. Target is 59 to 61. I'm going to put that on the page right here. I'm going to put KnifeWorks. This is KnifeWorks description of the knife. Benchmade did call it out. This is what we're going to try and get to. And guys, they made it in that target range. They did. I can't knock them for that. But just barely did they make it. Yeah. See the dimple there? It was this knife that was tested. I'll show you the picture right now. You guys can see. 59.2, guys? Really? Squeaking by there. It's one of those things where we know that if 20CV really wants to come to life, you got to get up over 60. You know, you got to get up over 60. 61, 62. This stuff can be taken all the way up to 64, 65 HRC. And here we are dancing around 59. Come on. Seriously? I'm a little irritated by that, guys. And I think everyone should be. And I don't want to get into it, but mostly because it's all speculatory until you guys see the pictures from Kurt, until I have pictures to show you. But he's tested a bunch of other 20CV, and we're coming up right around 57, 58, between 57 and 59 HRC. This one came up a little higher. I'm going to send him my mini grip because I feel like that's going to come up even lower than this, that 20CV. So, just a little disappointed by this number here, guys. And we can look at the elements. It did sharpen nicely, guys, and I did get this thing hair whittling. And it came up a really nice keen edge, and the burr came off nicely and everything. So it's not heat treated badly at 59.2. It's heat treated well at that 59.2. But man, you want to talk about leaving shit on the table. You know, that's a lot of stuff on the table left at 59.2 HRC. The elements. The elements are all lining up really nicely. This is definitely 20 CV. Thank God, guys. Come on, man. If it wasn't, this would be a completely different kind of video. And there would be definitely one of those parental advisory things at the front of it, because it'd be mostly bleeps, if not. Okay, so see where we're at. So we got molybdenum. Moly is going to be 1% pretty much. And that's where we're at, 1%. This is a little bit over, just slightly. Wolfgang, the Wolfram, which is titanium. Titanium. Tungsten. The tungsten in there is 0.6. What's here is 0.7, so that's good. Nickel is 0.2. There is no nickel on this form, but you know, that's something that you can add in to give you some strength, and also it helps with the annealing process. Yeah, and so does silicone, which I think we have. Yeah, silicone's 0.8. We got 0.3, so there's more silicone, which helps with the annealing process and all that. Vanadium's 0.42, which should be 0.4. You know, in 20 CV. 20 chromium, which is, you know, that's where it should be, 20.088. And then, of course, Fe, that's the iron. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So, you know, it's what it's supposed to be. But I do not see the carbon. Kurt, let me know where that carbon's supposed to be on this sheet. I don't see the carbon on this one either. So anyways, but yeah, definitely the element we're supposed to have. Elements that should be there. The steel is what it's said to be, but just, you know, you got all the recipe, but you didn't take it to the level that it could have been taken here. And I'll go ahead and put that on the screen. We'll put the gun shooting this steel. By now I probably have put the actual HRC tester, putting the dimple in it. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around and I'll talk to you guys for a second about this and how I feel. All right, so in conclusion, I do have another Benchmade with Kurt right now. It's a S30V Benchmade, and I'm not gonna get too into it because I don't want to give it away, but between Benchmade and Spyderco, we're just not seeing these guys pushing steels. And Spyderco, I know you can do it. I know you can, because we got some gnarly Rex 45 readings. They've taken certain steels like Maximate. I think Steve's Maximate got tested at like 67 or something. We know you guys can do this. We know you can, because you're taking some of these exotic steels and going above and beyond. And like, but why are you taking these easy to get steels and just squeaking by? It just doesn't make sense to me. I just got this thing, and I'm probably gonna send this to Kurt to have tested, because they're claiming it's going to be between 62 and 64 on this M4, and I want to test it. I want to make sure that it's getting there. I know that eventually we're going to have Steve's freak tested. That freak that he's had, that's been doing amazing in his cut tests. We're going to probably have Kurt test that one, I'm sure, eventually, and see. As Kurt said, they must have quenched that thing in unicorn piss, but you know, we got to see what that's HRC tested at. And it's just, I mean, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna release K390 and M390 and 20 CV, and you're gonna go the extra mile and get these guys, everyone stoked on these steels that you're coming out with, you better do them right, especially when you're making them kind of like a regular staple in your line. I mean, those 20 CV Griptilians that's production, guys. That's not even a sprint run. This is, it is an exclusive, but it's carried pretty much regularly, so they should have this down. You know, they've got their S30V, they've gotten that kind of down. I mean, we'll get more into that. But yeah, I mean, if Cold Steel can do it in Taiwan, I mean, this is one thing we are seeing, is there's a bit of a pattern coming up, and that is that knives made in Taiwan and China are actually coming up with a more consistent HRC as of what we've been testing and what we've seen so far. I mean, Spyderco, you're doing some great job on some of these more exotic steels, and we're seeing really great numbers, but S30, like, it seems soft. I'm gonna send my pair of 3 to Kurt. I got so many knives I want to test right now. That's why I tried, how I even got linked up with Kurt was because I wanted him to find, I was looking for an HRC tester because I want it to test all my knives. Because I want to be holding these guys to what they're saying, and not even to just what they're claiming, but also to what it should be done. What should be done. It should not be at 57. It shouldn't be at 58, to be honest. Like, I don't feel like S30 should be at 58. I think it should be 59 to 61 to really take advantage of these steels. Especially, I understand that when you go into higher HRCs, now machining becomes more of a, you know, a cost. But charge a little bit more. I mean, I would rather pay more for 20 CV and have it done to 61, 62, and really be getting that steel at its optimal level. You know, I don't want to pay. Okay, so this comes in S30 for $195, but it comes in 20 CV with G10 for $200. Well, make it 220 and do it 62 HRC. Like, do it, charge more and do it right if that's what it takes. You know, I had a long discussion with Elliot about HRC and why, you know, these production companies can't do 62, you know, I mean, or 64 like he wants to, like he does in his customs, you know, 64 HRC, 20 CV. Dude, the amount of grinding abrasives they go through when you go up just that, you know, 61 to 62, much less 62 to 63 or 63 to 64, it starts to become exponential when you get into like the higher HRCs. When you're going from 61 to 62, it's going to be less evident and less just, it's not going to affect it as much as going from like 64 to 65. You know, when you get up into those high 60s, it becomes almost exponential, I'm sure, of how hard that steel is and how much abrasive it takes to machine it down to a blade. So just things that I feel like need to be necessary for these companies to like just be held accountable. And I really am happy. I'm just so appreciative of what Kurt's doing right now. And you guys should all be too. I mean, he's doing it for all of us. And gladly and happily. And it's just, this community is just amazing, guys. Just all around. And Kurt, you're at the leading edge of it, bro. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of this On My Mind video. I'm going to have a lot more. This is just version 1 or whatever, episode 1, because there's going to be a lot of testing, guys. A lot of testing. I've got 2 knives coming back right now, and then I've got probably 8 or 10 more knives that I'm like already have in mind. Like, this guy's going to Kurt. This guy's going to Kurt. This guy's going to Kurt, because I want them to be held responsible. I want these companies to be held to what, not only what they say, but also just the standard, the standard that we should be held to. You know what I mean? When it comes to like steels, like you should be trying to utilize the best of that steel. I know that CRK, Chris Reeves, he says that S35 is best at like 58 to 59. I don't know, bro. I know you were helping in designing that metal, but man, from all the cobalt and things in there, it seems like it'd probably do a little better higher, like 61. You know, I think S35 at 61 would blow minds and still be just as tough. But, you know, I'm not a metallurgist. I'm just a steel nerd that really, I have an intuitive mind and I understand things. I see them. So I understand how certain steels, you know, why it should work, but I don't do it myself. You know, I'm not making metals, so I don't have from that kind of perspective, but I understand where these things should be going by the numbers and by what I've read about them and what people have done with them. So I just think some of these companies need to be pushing that level, and if you've already proven that your heat treat can be done well, then why aren't you taking these steels to the level you've taken the steels you've been using for years, like S30? There should be, you should be testing, and at this point now you should be nailing this 20 CV. It's been years now you've been using 20 CV. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna try and keep this relatively short, even though I know it's already not. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to show you guys this at the end here. I have this badass shirt that my wife bought for me. We were out shopping, relatively shopping, and we saw this, and she was like, oh, you need long sleeves? I'm buying this. I have an awesome wife, guys. I really do. And I love her to death. But yeah, badass shirt, guys. And if you want one, it's by Rourke, which is actually like a skate company, skate adventure surf company. So kind of surprised to see it coming from them, but there's a lot of like surf knife companies now too, like skate knife companies like James and stuff. So people are coming around. Maybe more people will be, you know, open-minded to knives because it's a tool. It's a great tool that I use extensively, daily. So yeah, appreciate everything, guys. Appreciate you all, and that's it.